Yo, what's going on, guys? I know it's been a minute since I dropped any videos, any content, anything like that. I've been keeping in touch with a few of the previous members. A few of them might have gotten this write up you see here on screen, and this you see here is a video I tried recording yesterday. So I wanted to make a video, didn't really have too much time. It was late night, maybe about 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. And I said, let me record this video real quick. So I go through the whole video, record everything, and my mic was apparently not set up correctly, so there's no audio in the entire video. It was pretty late, didn't end up re-recording it, but I did want to drop this video. So I'll cover it real quick. It's a little too late now since the move already happened today. But for the most part, I'm just going over the entire SPY setup that I shared with a few of the old members, and I will go over it in a second today. But yeah, just want to show you guys what I wanted to share last night. The trades I took today, they were super profitable. An amazing day, amazing week. I'm probably not even going to trade tomorrow, but long story short, here's a video, covers SPY levels, my positioning, which I'll give you guys in a second. What I was expecting going into tomorrow, I mentioned I would short Microsoft at the open, which was an amazing trade. They paid, I think, a little over 10x. A lot of trades did really well for me today. I did very well on AVGO, on GS, on SPY, 0 DTEs. A couple of the SPY swings paid nice. So yeah, that's that. Didn't get to release that video yesterday, and it would have been nice since, like I said, a lot of the trades were really nice. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and cover SPY since it's my main focus at the moment. So this is the original write-up I shared with a few of the members. I mentioned I would consider shorting into here, which I did. Loaded a little bit on Friday, I did a little more Monday, and I've basically been shorting the pops. Every pop has been shortable. I've said I would short up until 6:45 if we got there. But the latest I would want to see as rollover would be next week on next week on Tuesday, August 5th. The targets I'm aiming for are gonna be down here. So essentially, I want to target. Nope, where the dates? They don't show up. Give me 1 second. There we go. So essentially, starting from up here, these are two potential paths. One is a bit more of an aggressive sell than the other. Wait, hold on. This is not right. My drawings got moved for some reason. No way. I'm gonna have to fix these drawings. I do not know when this happened, but my drawings are not correct. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the correct charts since I'm already here. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. This is not accurate. This should line up over here. I'll fix it in a second. Let's pull up the charts. So this is what, can I open this? Yes. This is what this chart should look like. Again, I don't know what happened with my paths, but essentially one is more aggressive than the other. But for the most part, we have similar targets on the time projections and the downside targets. So by September 4th or October 2nd, it's about a 1 month window. I'm targeting a move down into 523.68 and 553.43. So basically in this box by these dates, I did give myself a little bit of more time. So these lines you see over here extend out to October 16th, which is what I'm centering my first batch of puts around. So I have a couple of tranches of puts set up. I have a few on October, a few on November, and a few on January 2026. For the people who do not have the liberty and the capital to, splurge and drop money all across, go for November. I've crunched the numbers. November is the sweetest spot in terms of potential returns. If you want to, do the shorter date on October, that's fine. But like I said, if you can only pick one between the three of October, November, and January, just go with November. But like I said, I have two batches. One is short at 635. I did a little bit into 640 and 600s. So for those dates, again, I have puts at the money, 635 and 640. And then I have a second set lower into 600. And they all go out to October, November, and January. So same strikes, just different expirations. Yes, the premiums vary, but at these levels, I think all of them are a really good bargain. They're already up a decent amount. The shortest time frame swing I have on SPY is going to be August 15th. I don't have too much size on that. It already paid a bit, but everything else I do have some size on. UVXY, I've mentioned. I loaded a decent amount of shares, some calls. These are the projections I am aiming for. Ideally, may not get them, but I would like to see this move into 30, where the shares will be paying around 100%. I do plan on trimming half of my shares, make the position free, let the rest run, maybe trim a bit more into 53 if we get it, and then the ultimate run up to potentially as high as 100 as possible. Not planning for it. I'm only going to leave a super small position of runners, both stock and calls, once we get to these levels. So that's that. Microsoft was an amazing trade. We had a crazy gap up on earnings and a beautiful move down right at the open. AVGO was another super clean sell. One thing I want to mention on AVGO, so pre-market, we had this wick, which is essentially what I was targeting today. I got that and some, which was amazing. So this paid pretty well. Don't remember exactly off top, but I want to say they paid, what was the percentage I got on that? I think it was over 400% if I'm being honest. SPY paid me a little more on the 0DTs, and so did Microsoft. The one trade I did regret not taking today was SPX. I had way too much exposure. I didn't want to take SPX. I took SPY instead, just because it's a little less intense on capital, but I really missed out on that beautiful move to the downside. So same setup we had on SPX as SPY. Why does it look like this? There we go. So we left this liquidity yesterday on with Powell. So that's a clear, liquidity sweep. We came, targeted that wick, paid very well. Looks exactly the same on SPY. So here's your sell side liquidity. You can see labeled. We came, swept it. Now there's a potential to move higher. At this point, I did take off a decent amount of risk. Like I said, AVGO paid me super well. GS paid me super well. Microsoft, SPY. So I felt greedy not taking some risk off the table. We were going into NFP tomorrow. We had Apple and Amazon earnings, which I'll cover in a second. Pretty much duds. But yeah, I didn't want to carry the overnight risk since I was up so much. I did de-risk. I have a bit of size on August 15th for SPY and UVXY. That's probably my most aggressive shorter dated trades. Everything else, like I said, goes out to October and later. But these trades paid really well. So GS as well. I shorted it yesterday, paid me very well. I re-shorted the pot this morning, paid very well. JPM didn't pay as much, but it was also a pretty clean move to the downside. As far as AMD, NVIDIA, and AVGO goes, I like the premiums a little better on AVGO, which is why I decided to take AVGO. But all three of them looked really good today. What have I not covered? Let's see. I wanted to talk about a few things. Let's cover Apple real quick. Not much of a move on Apple. Basically just back to the weekly range. One thing I do want to watch here on Apple is, do they manage to break out above the highs and get a push slightly higher? This has been lagging, it's lagging. Huge divergence between Apple and Microsoft here. The last time this happened was 2024. So we had that divergence happen here, and we are seeing it happen here once more. I am not interested in, taking the longs on or the upside on Apple if it comes. I'm more interested in the sells on Microsoft, which I took today, and like I said, they paid pretty well. I will be pretty tactical for the next 2 weeks going into August 15th. Let's see what the market gives us, but I'm not forcing my hand here. Like I said, the trades paid very well already, and at this point, I'm just looking to manage the positions. So one thing you want to be careful is, if we do reclaim the sell side liquidity, we can maybe come and target those levels I mentioned to 645. Is it for certain? No, nothing certain, which is why you need to manage risk and, don't be too heavy on one side at any time. I got paid. de-risked. If we move up into 645, I'll add risk again. And if, well, I already have risk, but I'll put some more short-term risk. But yeah, let's just see what we get. Honestly, if we do not manage to reclaim the south side liquidity into tomorrow, and like I said, we have NFP, which is pre-market. Let's see how that goes. Maybe I'll stream. No promises. Maybe I'll hop on stream, but honestly, I don't think I'm gonna trade tomorrow at all or much. So that's that. Let's see if SPY manages to reclaim and make a push to 645. If it does not, then you would go ahead and assume we're gonna go straight to fill this downside target. Again, I don't know what happened here. I'm gonna have to fix this if I can. I'm not sure how this happened, but yeah. So targeting. Targeting these lows, those dates, into October 16th. If you guys got any questions, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Discord. But yeah, hopefully you guys caught some of the moves. I know Slider hit me up. He said he did okay, so that's great. Hopefully you guys have been doing okay, and stay blessed.